What's going on, guys? Grab a pen and jot this down. Today, we're going to quickly continue the conversation of my Gemini video yesterday. I've been living in this ecosystem for 2.5 years. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience, but I do want to talk about probably the best experience I've had so far is with Gemini Spark. So, obviously, the transition happened from Bard to Notebook LM to these new Gemini related products, obviously 1.5, then 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.1, 5, and 3.5. And they've constantly gotten slightly better. What I don't think people realize is that Gemini and Google have done a great job of going entire horizontal stack. So I think Gemini owns a vertical stack from consumer to enterprise to chip to cloud to tensor processing units. But what Gemini really does, which you might hear developers say this, is the multimodal capability. It has the multimodal models allow you to do video generation, image generation, voice, coding, web search, all this stuff that's like really, really like far and beyond. And because Gemini, Google, Alphabet have these large server farms and data centers, and they have the capacity, to do search and all this stuff already, they basically built everything on top of this layer. So it gives them a competitive advantage of being the lowest cost provider, which the other guys do not do. So I have talked about Anthropic and ChatGPT. They're actually very good products. Yesterday I mentioned how powerful they are for coding. But if you're not a coder, you really do not know the power of those products. And that's a problem for most people because they are not programmers. I'm not a programmer. I'm not technical by background, but I am in the software space, so I understand the depth of technology and the leverage of it. So that's why I'm making this video. And if you go back and look at it, if you're not a coder, not a programmer, then it comes down to like beautiful interfaces. Do you like the web app or the mobile app or the experience or how it interacts with you? Now, I like Grok for one of those reasons because it has a beautiful Grok voice. It has Grok Imagine, which generates beautiful images that are very consistent and have the social plus distribution that the other platforms don't offer. But Gemini has these beautiful Gemini Omni for video generation, Nana Banana 2 for image generation. What I really wanted for a very long period of time, and they just started releasing it about 6 weeks ago, was the advancements towards the enterprise. Now, for about 2 years, if before this Gemini talk, if you're using any other products and you were only using the $200 subscription of ChatGPT or Claude for Claude Code, like Claude Max or Pro, whatever it's called, good model, not great. Why? Because they throttle the access to the best token usage. So they give priority to enterprise APIs. Now, if you're not in the space to use APIs or you don't have the technical ability, you actually do not have access to the most advanced either models, most priority to token usage, so you don't get throttled or etc. So all the money that's being made from these LLMs is from enterprise API. Now, if you're not a developer, you have no idea. Those models don't have video and other, very good voice or anything like that. So you probably don't have the need for extensive APIs if you're even outside of programming. However, Gemini has done the best job at this. They have this via Google Cloud because they own their own cloud provider that competes with AWS from Amazon and Microsoft Azure. Google Cloud has Google Cloud Run, so you could deploy an app straight through on Google Cloud via Google AI Studio and possibly in the future via Gemini products. You could deploy an Android app. You can do APIs straight from the cloud. And then they had a product called Vertex AI, which was their adjacent to their agent development kit, so you could build custom workflows with multi-agent capabilities. They are now shifting this ability towards the Gemini Enterprise. So if you use Google Workspace at work, you actually have the ability to have a company brain, meaning everybody has access to the same Notebook LM. They have access to the same chat. They have access to the same, obviously, Google Drive and associated products. Calendar is obviously a big piece of this. Now, I think it's very cool because they started creating these connectors. So you have the ability to bring together other tools, external tools, etc., and then connect it to Gemini, which they didn't have the capability before. Claude really launched this with MCPs, the model context protocols, and I think Gemini has the ability to do this. It's just taking time to roll out, just like anyone else. It takes time if it's not a feature native to the product ecosystem. So I mentioned this because I think Gemini Enterprise will be massive in terms of literal businesses using agents in their workflows to build digital workforce, to build a digital workforce. What Gemini released at Google I/O a few weeks ago was Gemini Spark. Now, this is a personal 24/7 agent, and it has several capabilities. It's still in like the beta release function, so you could test some of it if you have access to it. I don't know if it's only available to Gemini Ultra members, but it has become available to the public. So I'll talk about the product to the extent that I can. Most important probably is the ability to this does better work than simply just doing task scheduling. It has the ability to execute across the product ecosystem. So I've been able to create documents. I've been able to schedule time on my calendar. I've been able to adjust time on my calendar. I've been able to read my email, have Gemini Spark read my email, create emails, create Google Docs, update Google Sheets, create a registry, do all these things, and basically does the work of a real assistant. And I've only seen this level of experience from people who have used OpenClaw. I haven't used OpenClaw, but that's an open source product that was essentially banned from Anthropic because they didn't want their API being used for an external open source product that they don't have control over. And maybe ChatGPT will be providing that level of open source agentic capability. But if you're not technically capable, you don't want to use open source products that require maintenance and have security flaws or vulnerabilities. So Gemini Spark, I think, is one of the first personal agents that will go across the ecosystem for consumers. So I've done it to make travel plans. I've done it to tell me when I should leave. Based on the weather, the Google Maps, the directions. I've asked it to remind me what time to do work or what work we should do. So if my day changes over time, we could just change my calendar in real time. And I think these capabilities are only available in native ecosystem products. While MCPs by like Claude and maybe something that can be done by ChatGPT, have the ability, but they're a degree away. So they will have either they'll be blocked out of certain commands that they cannot do, or they simply don't know it, and they have to be either connected via API or something like that to provide more access. I think Google has the ability to really break this in terms of personalized intelligence, and it's the first of many. I think they have way more that they can do. It will be interesting to see. Obviously, there's some limitations in terms of personal use. I think YouTube is probably going to be an unlock for many people that are just loving, to use Google Search, Ask YouTube, and other Gemini consumer products. But I think this will show, if you use it on a personal level, you will find ways to use it on a professional level. So that shift from Gemini Spark to Gemini Enterprise, that overlap will become very prevalent to most people. They'll figure it out. Hey, I can make a personal schedule to pick up the kids, walk the dog, drive the car to pick up food or whatever. Why don't I use this to set up meetings with my team, my assistant, with clients, prospects, prepare for them ahead of time, etc. My notifications, I think I get 3 times more notifications from my AI agents than I do from probably people, because the AI doesn't get tired, and it constantly reminding me what to do, how to do it, why I'm doing it, and then providing recommendations along the way. So it's really amazing. I do recommend checking out Gemini Spark because it's the beginning of personalized agents that are native in applications, which I haven't seen before, and will definitely unlock tremendous potential for people who simply do not know how to use AI, don't know how to build agents, or even know how to set it up, because you can ask Spark what you need help with, and it will get it done because it knows you better than anyone else.